I was always really curious about different sounds, how to get different sounds out of anything. I'd, go around with drumsticks, hitting, couches, tables, and everything. I don't know how my parents dealt with it, but I would never really seem to be satisfied by one instrument. I still switch between guitar and piano, but those seem to be the most foundational for me now. I've pretty much been performing since kindergarten with Suzuki violin, and since then I'd gone through a lot of different instruments and eventually settled on piano and guitar. After that, met a friend, Jake, and we would play open mics, and eventually got gigs off those, and that was the first time I was performing in a more contemporary sense with like singer-songwriter stuff. So I feel like it's important to have two outlets. For me, my go-to outlet that I feel like is always there is music. It's really accessible, thankfully, now. And being able to play guitar or piano pretty accessibly too helps me to get these feelings that are trapped inside out. And helps that energy flow out of me in a more constructive way that makes me feel really good after it's happened. Boarding, being totally different, gives me something that music doesn't really give, which is a feeling of openness. Sometimes being locked in a room and playing guitar doesn't always make me feel as connected to everything around me. It might help me to reach inside myself and understand what's going on in me, but I feel like everyone also needs that sense of connectedness to the world around them, to everything. And floating down a hill at 20 to 30 miles an hour with nothing harnessing you or locking you in place, holding you down, just feeling the world envelop you is the coolest feeling.
I can still feel the light, yeah. Stop looking, starting to see you. I stop searching for your touch, I'm starting to feel you. This weight has filled my empty heart, love is rushing from my blood. I'm lost in your flood. Ooh, yeah, I'm lost in your flood. Ooh.
When I was about 13, I got this new portable recording device, the H4n. So I had always had this dream of basically being my own band, playing all the instruments in the band, basically like Beck or Bon Iver. This recording device only had 4 tracks, and what I would do is try to do as much on each track as possible, moved into software and using microphones instead of the built-in microphone on the H4n, and it just went from there. Since then, I've kind of gotten to live out this dream of being my own band in a sense and playing all the instruments, which is kind of cool, and it's helped a lot with the songwriting process. Being on the road kind of feels like going back home for me. Home always gives you the sense of security and safety, and honestly, being in the same place for a lot of time makes me uncomfortable and doesn't make me feel as safe. So when I go on the road, I always know I'm going somewhere. I always know that I'm making a change in some way. Even if I don't know where I'm going from point A to point B instead of staying in the same place, and that gives me a sense of security. It makes me feel at home.
Feels like we're falling further from heaven to get. And though I know I've been calling, feels like these ages are stalling forever. what you've been up to. Do you still sing to pass the time? Or are you dancing to a metal pole with tips from strange old guys? Have you made any breakthroughs with those monsters in your mind? Or do you drink away the pain just like you did that August 9? New Year could last a lifetime. Just wish you could come and tell me goodbye. Feels like we're falling further from heaven together. Oh no, and no, I've been calling. Feels like these ages are stalling.